Hey guys, this is Anastasia. Today for my fourth vlog to the light of the year, I wanted to share a setup that I've been doing for my journaling. As many of you may know, journaling is something I really struggle with. I struggle with finding time for it. I struggle with quieting my mind for it. And I took on a practice this year with Ostara, which granted was only a few days ago, but it's connecting to the element of that season and dedicating that whole season to workings with that element. Of course, you're still working with the other elements as well because you want that balance, but it's really finding something every day that you connect with or you didn't realize, or perhaps you do an honoring for that element. Anyway, so I have a journal that's dedicated to that. And I've done this with other journalings as well, but tonight when I was sitting down to do it with my elemental journal, I kind of sat there and thought, I should share this. This might be helpful to people. So what I do is when I sit down, first I set up a little comfy space. So here's the futon, and I've got my Hocus Pocus pillows around my back. I've got a blanket here propped up kind of like a cushion and then a cushion, and it helps to kind of be comfy and cozy. And then my pencil fell out of my hair, so that's where that came from. And I've got my journal, and I'll just sit there and I'll write. But I have this going, and before I start, I kind of connect to each element. You've got a big chunk of rose quartz, which I love, for earth, incense for air, my candle for the smaller candle is for my inner being and my inner self and connecting to that. The larger candle is for the season or the Sabbath. And then a cup of tea. Today it's my R2D2 mug. I love it. To connect with water. And yeah, so it's just something where, and I say a little prayer and a little blessing over each item. I ask the Lord and Lady, spirits, ancestors, and good folk to bless this connection, and also if they have any messages or anything to connect to me about, now is the time, kind of, in a way. Certainly they don't need me telling them when to connect, they just do it, but all the same. And then I just kind of sit there and I take in, I breathe in the incense, I take a sip of tea and feel that connection to water. I hear the flames flickering, especially my inner being is a wood wick, so I can hear it flickering. I feel the energy off of my rose quartz because I love that rose quartz. And suddenly it's not this thing where, oh my gosh, I've got to sit down, I've got to write this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. It now becomes a bit more about me. It's a great way to connect to yourself. It's a great way to give yourself a little bit of pampering, a little bit of downtime. It's a way to give yourself a bit of that self-love. And I find when we slow down and when we just kind of let ourselves, it kind of echoes to my video last night, when we slow down and we just kind of sit in the quiet and we allow ourselves that time to be just as we are. I find that's when so many insights can happen and when so much wisdom can come through. And so I found by making it a bit more ritualized, I am allowing myself that much more openness and that much more time to connect and to really sit and enjoy the process of journaling and writing. And it certainly doesn't have to be anything even this elaborate. I think this is pretty basic because honestly, 9 times out of 10 when I'm reading, I usually light some candles. I usually light some incense. And I definitely have a glass of wine or a cup of tea. Really the only thing that's out of place here is A, bringing them all together in one central location, and B, like bringing my rose quartz over. But other than that, this is nothing that I wouldn't normally do. But by bringing all of these things together and by putting the focus here next to me, it just helps that intent. It helps me focus. It helps me clear my mind. Suddenly, I'm not worrying about, the neighbors next door fighting. I'm not worried about, crap, what am I going to wear tomorrow? I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, did I remember to lock my computer at work? It becomes focused and clear. Just like when I craft things, I try to put as much intent in things as possible. I try to keep that focus where it needs to be, because distractions happen, your mind wanders, you need something to bring you back home. And that's just what this does. And sometimes the most connected and meaningful thing can be the simplest thing. It doesn't need to be this great ritualistic ceremony. It can be something as simple as putting a cup of tea, putting some honey in your tea, and thanking the Fae for that gift of honey. Personally, bumblebees and butterflies, I very much connect to the Fae. Clover, I very much connect to the Fae. So honey is, a quick hop, skip, and a jump to that connection. It's just like kitchen witchery, stirring the pot of soup clockwise to bring in healing. It's a simple enough thing, but it does wonders. Lighting a candle to help guide you through your thoughts and help in illuminating the insights you're supposed to be drawn to and the wisdoms that are coming through. All you're doing is lighting a candle. But once you give that candle that intent, that's magic. And I'm finding this year especially just all sorts of these little everyday things that end up meaning the world to me. So yeah, I thought I would share that. If you're struggling to connect, if you don't feel yourself winding down before bed, maybe do a meditation before bed. If you struggle to meditate, maybe whip out some incense that helps connect you. Maybe try lighting a candle and think about why you're lighting the candle. It's easy enough to, grab a rock and put it in front of you. It's just a rock until you think of why you are putting it there, what that rock means to you. If you don't know the traditional correspondences for it, fine, fuck them. Go with what you feel off of that. Rose quartz is all about emotion. It's very much a water-based rock. It's all about love and warm fuzzies and this and that. But for me, it also is very much a mother stone. Rose quartz and emerald, both. If I'm trying to calm myself down when it comes to dealing with my daughter, if I am struggling because my patience level is just gone and I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do and I feel like I'm failing and I start to spiral, emerald or rose quartz will help bring me back where I need to be, and it will help calm me and give me that insight for that maternal instinct. I don't necessarily know that anyone else feels that way, but if I'm going to do a meditation to help me find that inner mother and that soft, gentle, patient woman, those are the stones I'm going to associate with it. So not only when you do something and you just put something there that means something to you, not only does it connect to you more, but you also get to learn that much more about your path. Because every time we build a personal correspondence, I fully believe we're etching out a bit more of our personal spiritual path. Because it's a personal correspondence, it's a personal thing. This is something that is very personal to me. So what does that tell me about my path? What does that tell me about my evolution of my spiritual journey? Well, bam, if I'm looking to journal some shit, right there, I've got at least an entry or two. So, yeah, I'm starting to ramble. I can feel myself going down that spiral, so I'm going to stop it here. I just wanted to share this with you and share it for myself, because vlogs are always fun to kind of go, videos are always fun to kind of go back and go, wow, okay, so that's what I was doing back then. Interesting. But yeah, I strongly suggest, if you're struggling to connect to something, to a practice that you really want to take on, try to make it more of a sacred time. And this is a pretty easy way to do it. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Blessed be. Bye, guys.